Okay. It looks like we are up and live. All of my things are popping off. So that seems pretty good. Where are you going, buddy? And this is going to be our content for a while. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on a grind that I've been doing on the train as I go to and come home from work. It's collecting Molch pearls. And collecting Molch pearls is one of the more boring and arduous grinds that you can do. Like this content at this point for me is starting to get a little bit mind-numbing. And the reason why it's starting to get a little bit mind-numbing, if I can get my transition correct, is for this reason here. Molch pearls do not have it doesn't have the worst drop rate for an item, but it also doesn't have the best drop rate for an item. The drop rate will flux between 1 in 100 and 1 in 75. Right, 1 in 100 and 1 in 75. And if we look at my current stats as I have them right now, which is a hunter level of 74 and a fishing level of 76. What's telling me is that 1 in every 86, I get a Molch pearl. Okay. That means I get in every 3 inventories, basically. There's a chance of me getting one of these pearls. In every 3 to 4 inventories, I get one of these pearls. Now, with a grind like this, you might be thinking, okay, well, what exactly are you getting out of it, right? It's kind of slow. These things can't cost too much, right? They got to be sort of like a reasonable amount. Maybe it's like Thai Farm and like stuff is only like max 200, huh? There we go. Okay. Flash the other thing on screen. Let's have a look. There you are. Okay. Hey, I'm going well. I'm going well. I'm going to switch back over to my other Discord, though. Just because I know I'm not going to get interrupted. How are you going, Laura? When you get free, just talk to me. It's going to be in an hour or so, I guess. Okay, so what am I getting for aerial fishing? Well, what I'm getting here are these angler pieces. Not angler pieces. So I'm getting these pearl fishing rods. And I'm getting a fish sack. Right? And that's going to cost me about 370 pearls. But I'm going to go for 1,370 pearls. But I'm going to go for 1,470 pearls. Why? Because I'm going to make one of those pearl rods an oily pearl rod. Meaning I actually need 2 of the pearl rods. And what this is going to do is that this is going to green the collection log for me. The aerial fishing, I think it should be other, right? Here it is. It's gonna green this collection log for me. So I've already done fishing trawler enough times so that I have all the angler stuff. I've managed to get 2 golden tenchers. And I currently have nearly enough. I have enough Molch pearls to get all the rods at the moment, and just not have a fish sack. But if anything, I kind of want the fish sack first. One, because I'm basically already halfway to it. And I think you're actually still seeing this part. Wait a minute, no! I want to be... This is the screen that I actually want, so that you can see that see the RuneScape as I'm playing. Yeah, that you can see the web page or the YouTube video as I'm playing RuneScape. That's what I want. Yeah, I want the fish sack. I want the fish sack. Why? Because I actually already have the fishing barrel from Temporos. And the fishing barrel is nice because it's like a coal sack. You get 27 extra fish that you can stuff into the barrel whenever you do a fishing trip. And if you have the fishing sack and the fishing barrel and you combine them, they can exist as your cape slot, which takes another lovely little inventory slot away from you, so you can just fish longer and fish more. I don't know if it's actually like worth it in the end, but I think it's a cool upgrade and I quite like it. So that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming so that we can get a fish sack, and after we get a fish sack, we can get a fish barrel. And that's the goal. So we're just going... We are going to be fishing. And as you can see, this is thrilling content. This content it's fast-paced. It makes you think. You have to be quite flexible. And since starting the stream 7 minutes ago and lazily fishing, I've not gotten a single pearl. So honestly, if I keep doing this on the train and, I stream, every second day I stream this and I do this for, an hour or so, I think I'll be done in like a month. So that's where we are at the moment. That's the situation we're in, and that's what I want to do. Now, I do want to make this somewhat serviceable. So I came up with a plan. Okay. I basically just came home from work an hour ago. Because we had an event on at my school. That's why I'm still wearing my suit. So what I'm planning is this. What if we sit here and we watch the Channel 9 news together? Why don't we look at these people? Why don't we watch the news? Why don't we see what's going on in the world and commentate a little bit? Okay. So let's start with this one. This one is Pope Francis' major setback in his battle with double pneumonia. Interesting. All right, let's go. Let's have a look. Let's recline back. Let's keep fishing. And wait, I am on the channel where you can still see me fishing. Yeah, I'm still fishing. Okay, cool. You can still see it. So let's have a look. Let's watch this.
Pope Francis has suffered a major setback in his battle with double pneumonia. Let's go to 9's Europe correspondent Hannah Sinclair in St Peter's Square in Rome. Hannah, what happened?
Good evening, Pete. The Vatican says Pope Francis suffered 2 episodes of acute respiratory failure caused by a significant build-up of mucus. Doctors had to perform 2 bronchoscopies to check the Pope's airway and clear it of that mucus. Now, as a result of this latest setback, the 88-year-old has had to be put back on a ventilator.
I always forget that Pope Francis is 88 years old. Like, he's getting up there. I don't think he's going to survive his current ailments. I think Pope Francis is most likely going to die. I mean, like, it was only a couple of days ago when people were being like, "Oh, he's alert, he's active, he's in good spirits. He's asking for everyone to pray for him." And then he has another sort of spasm in his lung, and they were sort of like keeping some of the diagnosis really close to the chest because they didn't quite know what it was. And now we have this. Now we have like he's just kind of constantly. It's like almost once every single day. He's just going into respiratory failure. So I think he's on the way out.
To help him breathe. The Pope has now spent 18 nights in hospital battling double pneumonia, and while there have been some improvements to his condition, the Vatican still isn't sharing his prognosis. Pete?
Hannah, thank you.
And I think that's another thing as well.
It's now spent
that's kind of telling that this is kind of bad, and that I think Pope Francis is probably going to pass in the next 2 weeks. Is that they're keeping the prognosis really, really close to the chest, and they're saying, oh, we just don't want to give out that information. We don't want to give out that information. It's like, okay, fine, you don't want to give out that information, but like we are still hearing that, Pope Francis, he's not able to breathe. He's needed to be put on ventilators. He needs oxygen masks. Combine that with he's 88 years old, and he's having mucus build up in his lungs. Like, I don't know. Unless this is just like the worst of it, and he's only going to get better from here. But even then, his knee injury has been making him not too mobile. I think we're gonna be mourning the Pope in the next 2 weeks. That's my view of it. If he comes back and he retires, like Benedict, I'm going to freak out. Popes need to die in the chair. All right. So let's have a look. Let's see what else Channel 9 News has. So we have Woolworths and Coles increase and improve their home brand ranges. New shirt. Yeah, no, this is my work shirt. I only came back from work an hour ago. And then I put my son to sleep. He's actually a little bit sick, so we tried giving him some nose medicine. Put my son to sleep, and then I started getting ready for the stream. So I haven't actually. This is basically the first break of my day at the moment. Starting from like 5 a.m. It's now 9 p.m. All right, let's see what Woolworths and Coles are going to do in order to fix the fact that they're a duopoly and that they have been gouging consumers for the last give or take 10 years at this point. So let's see what they do.
Fire for gouging shoppers with high prices during a cost of living crisis, but now they're taking action and cutting costs. Both Coles and Woolworths are increasing and improving their home brand ranges to save shoppers hundreds of dollars.
Home brands are getting a glow up. Fancy packaging, improved quality, and hundreds of new products released each month.
How do you know it's improved quality? Other than the fact that it's Coles finest Belgian chocolate. Yeah, it's the finest. The finest is the thing that allows me to know. Isn't that right, my love?
And hundreds of new products released each month.
We're really focusing on what customers are saying to us, and we're getting in the kitchen and designing exactly what they want.
With shoppers demanding lower prices, Coles and Woolies are expanding their home brand ranges, which now account for a third of all products.
So in response to demanding lower prices, Coles and Woolworths, they go, okay, we hear you loud and clear. Let's add more products. What we're going to do is we're going to increase our range, the range of the products that we hold in our stores. That will really get you, that will make you guys happy.
On their shelves.
consumers can save between 10 to 40%.
Experts say investing in their own brands is the only way for supermarkets to increase profits without putting up prices.
Coles and Woolies, they have lost about...
And again, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to increase profits without increasing prices. They basically know the ACCC is coming down on them and being like, oh, wait a minute, guys. You increase prices and then discount back to the original price and called it a discount. That's actually illegal. You're not allowed to do that. Now Coles needs to figure out a way. Oh God, how do I steal the money out of the pockets of these people without actually price gouging? You know, the ACCC is really tying one hand behind my back. Thanks for the follow.
5% each of their market share to Aldi.
And just like Aldi, they've also launched their own brand cleaning products, makeup and
Nothing's really going on.
pharmaceuticals. Cashing in on the air fryer craze, Woolworths have just launched a new range of quick meals, from pizza parcels to curry puffs and kebabs. Flavoured iced teas have also hit the shelves, and a range of beans with no added salt.
We spend a lot of time.
Who wanted this stuff? Like, honestly. Who said I wanted an increase in the range of baked beans that I could purchase? That is what I want as a consumer. Yeah, I am a new streamer. Like, no one said these things. Really what it is, because all these things that they're putting on the shelves, at least from what I'm seeing in the clips, is they're putting on Coles and Woolworths merchandise, right? What they're trying to do is they're trying to not be reliant on external producers and then stocking their products, but instead just owning those producers. And making a slightly subpar product that's passable, but then charging it only a little bit less. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about we're watching the news at the moment, watching Woolworths and Coles, and how they are increasing and improving their home brand ranges. And this is a very pointy topic at the moment in Australia, because Woolworths and Coles are under investigation from the ACCC, our body of the government that checks whether or not companies are doing the right thing. And basically found that they were upping prices and then putting a discount on that new upped price to the price that it was before, and saying that that was a discount to consumers. So, oh, you're saving 30%. And then 2 weeks later, the price goes away, and they've just gently increased the price without anyone really knowing. I just play Subway Surfer on my phone. It's getting that way. Games are wanting your attention a little bit too much these days. And everything really is wanting that live service model. Everyone's trying to gun for that really successful live service model where they just constantly take your money forever, like League of Legends. It's just nice to have a chill game every so often, like RuneScape.
I'm trying to lower the salt and the sugar and really use natural ingredients to try and add that flavour.
Coles recently released more than 1,100 new products in their own brand range, which includes Coles Simply and Finest ranges.
We're so proud of our cacio e pepe gnocchi.
I will say I do like the Coles Finest gnocchi, and I think it is reasonably priced. So I'll give them clemency on that one product.
Our new Finest frozen gnocchi.
The dough balls? What dough? Oh wait, I think the dough balls is okay. My wife was asking about the pizza dough. And I think they're okay. And they're pretty good. They're pretty good price. They're $2 actually. And you can make a whole pizza, but we put them in the cupcake trays put them in the oven, put cheese and sauce on it, and it makes pizza cups. It's pretty nice.
From the freezer into your pan and cooked in 7 minutes.
New sweet treats are also on offer just in time for Easter, with a range of deluxe cakes, including Easter, with
Look at that. Okay. Coles milk chocolate mini eggs. 100 grams. $5. Okay. So within there, you might have 8 chocolate eggs. So 8 chocolate eggs for $5. You're starting to skirt dangerously close to $1 per like tiny chocolate egg. And like, you know, it kind of looks big in the picture. No, that's the size of your thumb. Like your like the top knuckle of your thumb. That's not big. No, I'm not looking for any art these days, mate.
with a range of deluxe cakes, including Black Forest and Red Velvet and Wagon Wheel flavoured hot crust buns.
That awesome biscuit you'd get with that marshmallow and the jam, we've turned that into a hot cross bun.
By making their own products, the big supermarkets have more control over production and distribution, which increases
Man, more control over production and distribution. I wonder just how much they're underpaying their workers in order to get a cheaper price than the other producers.
efficiency to reduce costs and improve profits.
But
Reducing costs.
it makes it difficult for smaller suppliers to compete, with many at risk of going out of business. And it's a tightly kept secret that many home brand products are made by suppliers of top brands. So you're getting a similar quality for about a third of the price.
The quality is really good. I don't have any problems with the quality of the stigma of buying black and gold or, you know, that home brand. It's not the same anymore.
Michelle Tapper, 9 News.
Whoa. Okay. All right. What do we learn? ACCC coming down on Woolworths and Coles. What do they decide to do? They're deciding to try and seize more control over the amount of home brand products they can produce. Thanks. I might check it out. But I just wonder when, like, the ACCC is still doing their investigation. How long is that going to take? Because I want to see them punished. Because what they're doing is just so wrong. Like they've been caught red-handed in price gouging their consumers. And they can do so because they are actually the two only supermarkets really in Australia. Unless like you're in the country and then you go to an IGA. IGA just has high prices anyway. Just because the nature of how IGA works. Aldi's sort of come in and they have lower prices. But the lower prices is also because of the business structure that Aldi has. In terms of like, they basically said, we don't care about the optics. I'm just putting the box on the shelf, deal with it. And also, we're not packing your bags. The Aldi checkout person just goes, so they can keep things cheap. Okay. Let's look at what's next. What's next on Channel 9 News? 2 people in hospital after a mysterious explosion at Sydney home.
2 people are tonight in hospital, one fighting for life, after a mysterious explosion at a home in Hurstville in Sydney's south. One theory which police are exploring is laughing gas, with multiple cylinders found at the property.
With 70% of burns to his body, paramedics fight to save this man's life. Specialist doctors among a convoy of first responders at Hurstville just before 9 this morning.
Received 000 calls to a house on fire and some kind of explosion.
A 39-year-old woman also injured, suffering serious burns from the blast inside a bedroom of the home on Dora Street. The cause thought to be nitrous.
I mean, the cause is nitrous oxide. Like, I understand it. You can't make allegations against someone and claim that those allegations are 100% true. And at this point, until like a proper investigation happens and we roll around in the court for a little bit, that we can't say with certainty it was the laughing gas that's here. But it clearly was laughing gas. Like, it's also just really sad. I mean, these two poor people, what's happening in their lives where they say, okay, you know what the best decision I could make right now for myself and for the other person who's living with me, the best decision we could make right now is that I'm going to buy this big box of laughing gas. And I'm just going to let it rip. And then I'll just forget about everything. Like, you have to kind of be in a pretty bad place for this to be for this to be a rational decision that you're making. It's quite sad.
Oxide, commonly known as laughing gas. Multiple cylinders of the gas, which is legal to buy, was found at the property. And while it's not flammable, it does support combustion.
At this stage, there's a couple of things that we are looking at, but we need to investigate them more thoroughly.
The 30-year-old man taken to Royal North Shore Hospital in a critical condition, suffering burns to his airways.
I put the patient in an induced coma and intubated the patient on scene. That's to ensure that we protect the patient's airway from further deterioration.
The injured woman taken to Concord Hospital in a serious condition.
Police today sealed off the home, declaring it a crime scene. Investigators now looking into the exact circumstances of the explosion.
Now, it might be the case that it's the laughing gas that they found on the property. It also could be the case. So just a month ago, there was a big drug bust that happened in Australia. And the police had basically found this property that was just hoarding the materials necessary in order to make meth. And were running drug labs out of these homes. So it could be that they are. But they didn't look that way. They just looked like poor people who are just trying to get high off laughing gas. They didn't look like meth heads. But we're starting to have a huge problem here in Sydney, where it's not just the ice trade run by the bikie gangs anymore. What we're starting to see is that regular people are getting so stressed, I think, financially. Because Sydney is a really bad place to live in terms of cost of living. Housing is, I believe we are the second most expensive city to live in terms of housing in the world. Right? It's not in the country, in the world. So you have that. Plus, we just found out from the ACCC that Woolworths is price gouging its consumer base and just increasing prices so they can make as much profits as humanly possible. Which is like, it's in the business's interest to do so, because if they're not doing so, they're not growing, the board of directors is just going to out the CEO. The CEO wants to keep their position because it's a very nice, high-paying position. So they're going to figure out any strategy humanly possible. They're incentivized to to try and generate more and more profits. And sometimes this happens in a really good way, but it's happening in a really bad way where it's hurting people. And then I think driving people to just say, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna get the galaxy gas. I'm gonna get the laughing gas, and I'm gonna take a big whiff, and I'm just going to stop caring because it feels like no one's actually caring about the rules in the society. So I'm gonna stop caring about the rules. It's sad. It's ruining people's lives. All right, let's look at this next one. Prime Minister's big funding promise for public schools. As a teacher, this is a very, very important issue for me. This is something I want to pay close attention to.
The Prime Minister paid a visit to the Premier's electorate today with another big funding promise, this time for our state's public schools. Conveniently timed, this deal will deliver...
I love how the media just has to like that is the most jab that they will ever do. Unless you're like, the late channel Sky News where they'll sit there in their big conference room going, "Oh, of course the only reason she wanted to get votes is to buy votes." I don't know if this stuff actually buy votes. I don't know if it buys votes. I think it's definitely a threat from the government that, if you don't vote for me, I'm not going to fund public schools. But I don't think it buys votes. I don't think it helps in that way.
Billions to help public schools raise the bar and better support students.
Anthony Albanese, schooled by the captains of Carlton South Primary.
How did you get to be captain?
Won an election.
Won an election? Can you give me some tips?
Just have a good speech.
Choosing to campaign.
That was cute. I don't like Anthony Albanese, but that was cute. That's a nice, wholesome interaction. I think it's fine.
With his checkbook instead, announcing $4.8 billion for New South Wales public schools
over 10 years. Wait a minute. So how much is that increase per year? So, well, wait. Okay, so that's 400 and I don't even need the calculator for that. So that's $480 million per year for 10 years. That's what that is. That's a fair amount of money. Wait, is this funding for the nation or is this funding just for New South Wales?
Announcing $4.8 billion for New South Wales public schools.
New South Wales alone. $480 million per year for 10 years for New South Wales alone. That's kind of wild.
Over the next 10 years.
This is the largest ever federal injection of funds into New South Wales schools ever.
A deal over a decade in the making, originally recommended in the landmark Gonski reforms. Our state, the second last to sign up to the schooling resource standard, amounting to a 5% increase in...
Have I been in this classroom? I think I know what school this is. I'm 80% certain I know what school this is. I would have to like actually look into the newspaper to figure out where Anthony Albanese has actually visited. But I think I know where this school is.
Standard, amounting to a 5% increase in federal support.
It's not a blank check, it's tied to real and practical reforms to help children.
It's a blank check. It always has been a blank check. It always will be a blank check. You can never give money to education and it not be a blank check.
From next term, nearly 5,000 Year 1 students across 150 public schools will undergo a math check, testing basic skills including counting, addition, subtraction and ordering numbers. A trial program aimed to be rolled out comprehensively.
Let me look at that again.
Undergo a math check, testing basic skills including counting, addition, subtraction and ordering numbers. A trial program aimed to be rolled.
You mean a year 1 maths assessment task? That they do anyway? Oh, but this time we send the data to the government. And that makes better. Oh, I see. Interesting.
Rolled out comprehensively next year when the funding kicks in.
What this money means is that we can have intense, small groups so that no child is left behind.
This deal is now set in stone regardless of the election outcome, even if...
Oh, that's nice at least. So it's not a threat. This is actually just something nice that they've done ahead of the election.
If there's a change in government, they would need to pass legislation to unpick it.
We can employ additional permanent staffing, reduce class sizes, get the additional resources into our schools to the benefit of our students.
Sophie Upcroft, 9 News.
You have a problem though when it comes to a lot of these things. So I have a little bit of insight on this stuff. Okay, number one, we have been throwing money at the education system for years now. For the better part of really 2 decades, we have been throwing so much cash over and over and over and over at our schooling system. And it started with trying to implement new technologies in the classroom. It started with, okay, what we're going to do is going to make sure that schools have smart boards. And these smart boards are going to be these fun, interactive pieces of tech that's going to allow teachers to, we're not going to need to buy whiteboard markers anymore, and, everything is just going to work perfectly. What actually ended up happening, what we found out in studies run in 2015, 2016, is that smartboards actually contributed to classroom disruptions. The smartboards were actually, if a smartboard was in the room, it was creating classroom disruptions. Whether or not it was because the technology was failing, the technology would mess up as the teacher was using it, and so the teacher would stall in their instruction, or in the fact that students just want to have a play with it, right? Because the smartboards were touch screens as well. Well, not really touch screens. It was a projector, but by tapping on the sensor on the board, it would kind of figure out what was happening and move things. So kids would go up in there and just start tapping to mess with it and see what would happen. So these boards contributed to a vast amount of classroom disruptions for teachers and for students. And I believe in recent studies actually showed that they had a negative correlation with student outcomes. Okay. What do we do then? Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to have the big government program, and we're going to get every single kid a laptop. And that was part of my generation. The government bought a laptop for me. You know what? In fairness, it was, thinking back, it was a pretty good laptop. It wasn't completely useless. It worked for its purpose. Like, I remember being able to edit videos, not through like Windows Movie Maker, but through a program, video pad editor from NCH Software. Right, it actually able to take something robust and use it and manipulate it. It's pretty good, right? The problem is, what did everyone actually end up doing with their laptops? We all went to the library. We all played cool maths games. Anytime we were in the lesson, we're not on the Microsoft Word document creating notes. No. we're playing chess. We're playing like whatever game we can get our hands on this. Some kids are playing Doom. My friend in high school was coding Doom levels and like making a Black Ops zombie Doom level. And if we accelerate that to what I observe in classes these days is I just think the number one thing that hurts a kid's education at the moment is the presence of a laptop. I think laptops are just kids do not have the discipline to use the tool correctly or effectively. Even if you're monitoring them. Even the good kids open up Roblox and play the dress up game. What is it? It's the fashion show game. I forget. I don't know. But even kids do that. I mean, even the good kids do that. And it's not something you can actually really regulate inside your classroom. Like, sure, I say, close the game. They just swipe to a new window. Oh, I catch them again. Naughty, naughty. I'm going to call your parents. Parents are like, I mean, whatever. This is more of a you problem, isn't it? Right? Like, and no kid's going to get suspended over this. It's not drastic enough. Like they'll more likely like get suspended in a month's time if they do zero work. But that's a whole month of that behavior, being reinforced in their brain that, oh, I can actually just do this. And then I get to stay home for a couple of days at the end of the month, and then I come back and then I'll just do it all over again. So the government throws a lot of money at it to try and push technology bad. I think that we even still are throwing money at in the technology area with AI. I don't know why they did this, but ChatGPT suddenly becomes a big issue, and the school system sits down and they say, okay, well, what is our solution to children using ChatGPT in order to make essays in their English classes? The AI checkers don't work. Turnitin can only accurately determine if it's an AI essay 5% of the time. If the big, academic plagiarism resources can't figure it out, then what are we going to do? So what they do, roll up your hands. What we'll do is we'll just teach the kids how to use AI ethically. What happens in Victoria? What happens in Victoria is that a year 12 student, was it a year 12? It was some student, 10 to 12, not too sure, in Victoria, who uses AI to create nude photos of their classmates and distribute it to other students in the school, right? Kids aren't rational creatures. They can't think ethically. They need to be forced to be ethical. They can think about being ethical when they reach maybe the year 12 level, maybe then. But like kids, I take a Piagetian view of the world, and the kids at around age 15, age 16, the majority of them, their morality is what is good for me and what is good for my friends, right? So if they see one of their friends get punished, that teacher has done something bad, right? Even if the friend was, being a nuisance and threw a chair across the room. The fact that he got punished is whether or not that's moral or not. It's whether or not the friend liked being punished is what makes it moral or not. That's how these kids think. But the system keeps pretending that these kids are ethical creatures. That that they're rational adults like we are. And, if you just speak to them, they'll listen and they'll understand. And there's nothing further from the truth. Like any teacher who's been in a room will be able to back this up. So like just so that's the tech side. The funding side, we've been increasing funding in schools forever, and we still have classes in the state that don't have teachers. It's not because we don't have the funding. It's because the reason we don't have teachers in a classroom. It's not because of the funding. It's because no one wants to be a teacher. I think the dropout rate at uni is thanks for watching. I think the dropout rate for teachers at uni at the moment is within the first year, I believe something like 30% of students drop out after the first year. I then believe by the end of the fourth year, 50% of students have dropped out. 5 years into teaching, 70% of that cohort has dropped out. So you only of 100 teachers that go to university and go to university for 4 years, become teachers, come out of university, teach for 5 years, you only have 30 of them left. It's not a money problem either, right? If you look at the pay scales of teachers in New South Wales, and you compare that with the median and salary and the mean salary in Australia, we're dramatically above them. We're about 40K above both of those numbers. We're not paid enough for the job that we do because the job we do is quite intense. But we're paid. I think we've fallen out of the top 10% at the moment, but we're paid close to top 10% of income earners in Australia. So it's not a pay issue either. And the government just keeps thinking we can just, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the year 1 students, and we're gonna give them a test. We're gonna test their addition skills and subtraction skills and their money order and their number ordering skills. We're gonna just test these skills. Teachers do that for every single one of their classes. K to 12. It's just part of good practice. The data already exists. You don't need to implement a new test. So, what do you do? Anyway, I'm chatting forever about what the government is doing in terms of funding and education. But the core of it, the background of it is they have no idea what they're doing, and anything that they do generally hurts the education system. All right, let's look at this one. Will public servants be banned from working from home? Will they be banned?
Peter Dutton says if he becomes Prime Minister, public servants will be banned from working from home. But the opposition leader is tonight being accused of stealing policies from US President Donald Trump.
Canberra in the crosshairs.
People refusing to go back to work in Canberra is not acceptable.
Peter Dutton declaring war on work-from-home arrangements, suggesting public servants in the nation's capital are slacking off by not going to the office.
That is not...
They are slacking off. Those people aren't working. They've bought mouse jigglers off Amazon to show that they're still active on Microsoft Teams. That's what they're doing. They're actually doing things like grocery shopping or taking care of their children. These fiends. These numbers in a spreadsheet. They should be working.
Not going to happen under a government I lead.
The COVID-19 pandemic forced many Australians to work from home. It's become an entrenched part of flexible employment arrangements.
The problem is it has become a right that is creating an inefficiency.
36% of all workers regularly.
I want to see how they're going to back that up. Because, at least from the data that I've read, work from home's arrangements have increased productivity. Mostly because it just kind of seems that without your co-workers constantly haggling you, you can just kind of go and do your work and do your job. And when you have your own stuff around you, you can just kind of do things a lot quicker. Like when I'm making stuff in my classes, I'm a lot quicker at home than I am at school. Because my computer is just a better workstation to be with. I don't know. I feel more comfortable here. Like I talk to my wife, but sometimes I'll talk to my colleagues, or like something will just pop up that's irrelevant to the work that I'm doing, and I'll just have to go and deal with it, right? Or it'll be like a well-being issue or something.
Regularly work from home, according to the Bureau of Statistics, down from 40% 3 years before. By comparison, 61% of public servants regularly work from home, which is more than it was during the pandemic.
It will be
These public servant bludgers. Wait, so is this of all public servants? So is half of our public servants working off the taxpayer dime? Half of them are working from home. I think if our system is still running in this context, then clearly I don't think it's a work from home issue. I think it's the fact that these jobs are useless. I think it's a useless job issue.
Pandemic.
It will be an expectation of a Dutton Liberal government that all members of the Australian Public Service work from the office 5 days a week.
Absolute rubbish.
That has to be a really unpopular position for Dutton. Like I'm wondering why he decided to come out against the work from home people. I think that alienates a lot of people. I don't know if he realizes that.
This is something that works across the country, and it allows people to join a public service where that opportunity might not have existed for them before.
Canberra bashing is something of a national sport, as if it's...
Yes, it is. We love Canberra bashing.
Chock full of fat cat bureaucrats, when the truth is, most of them don't even live in this town.
Not only are they fat cat bureaucrats, but they don't even live in the fat cat bureaucrat capital. They've outsourced it.
Of the 365,000 Commonwealth public servants, more than 2/3, 255,000, are outside Canberra.
No way! I think we're talking about the wrong problem. I don't think this is a work from home issue. I think this is the fact that we have more than 2/3 of public servants in the ACT. Not in the ACT. This is a wild number. Like, maybe I'm misunderstanding this number. Like, is that like total public servants across the country, and only 110,000 of them are part of the ACT, and the rest is the rest of the country? Maybe I'm misunderstanding like that. But if this is like ACT public servants, this is wild.
We don't have to adopt all of America's policies.
I got elected on
Yes, we do.
making government better, more efficient and smaller.
The Prime Minister accusing Peter Dutton of copying Donald Trump.
What we need is Australian policy for Australian conditions.
Oh, now you're patriotic. Now we care about Australians. I am a hater of this man. But I kind of agree though. I mean, he is absolutely just copying Trump. Peter Dutton has just decided, like, you know, if in the next week he says, I'm going to make my own Doge department, I wouldn't be surprised. And he starts like shouting stats from the rooftops.
Because we are unashamedly the best country on earth and we don't need to borrow off anyone else.
Andrew.
I don't think we're the best country in the world. But I think we're pretty good. Not the best. I think we're top 10. Not the best. Okay. I feel more informed. I feel like I know a little bit more now about what's going on today in the news. Some sad stuff in the news. People high on laughing gas, igniting themselves. That's not good. Had a giant rant on schooling. Okay, there you go. So, how long has it been? It's been 55 minutes. All right, we started at 433 pearls. And I did basically stop fishing for like 15 minutes as I went on a big rant. Okay. We've nearly caught about 1,000 fish, 703 fish. We haven't even got 10 pearls. We've got 9 pearls. We're going to be here forever. So buckle in. For the fact that we're just going to be here forever. We're going to be aerial fishing. 30 more pearls, and I will be able to just purchase all the rods that I want. And I'm kind of umming and ahhing. When I get 30 more pearls, do I want to like purchase all those rods and then start working towards the fish sack, or do I want to wait and sort of get everything together? And I think waiting is probably going to be the better choice. I think I'm due for another golden kench though in a moment. I mean, if we think about it, that this 3/4, let's just say in total. Oh, does the total fish reset? Yeah, it does. Okay. So we think about it, that 21,000 fish that we have is basically 3/4 because like, I think it's about like a 1 in 4 chance we use a fish guts to feed our bird. So if that's 3/4, all I have to do is divide this by 0.75, and that should get me 100% of the value, which makes it 28,000. The fact that I got 2 golden kenches so far, I'm being spooned. But it's been so long since I've gotten one. I feel like I'm going really dry. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, no golden tench. We've watched some news. One more inventory, and then I think I'll end the stream. I just realized from Readmin TV, if we look at his comment, hey dude, I really enjoy Little I Watch. I was reading between the lines. I feel like when I saw this going, hey dude, I really enjoy Little I Watch. Let connect on Discord to converse more better. If English isn't your first language, that was a pretty good attempt. I mean, it's just phrasing there that's wrong. It's not necessarily that the English was wrong. It's just phrasing. Like, I really enjoy Little I Watch. Can just be rephrased to, I really enjoyed watching a little. It's just sort of backwards. And that probably will, yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Okay, cool. No golden kench, kind of sad. I think I'm going to stop here. All right.